Hello, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and I do political predictions as well as a lot of spiritual teaching and counseling. And today we're going to be talking politics because you guys have sent in your questions. Really appreciate that. There's over 300 questions. So I don't think I'm going to get to answer all of them, but I'm going to go through. My spirit guides are going to pop out at me, the ones they want me to talk about. And honestly, they want me to talk about a lot of things. They are very chatty. And what's funny, interesting, not funny, it's not funny, but it's interesting to me. I'm just opening up the page of the YouTube. So you guys, if you want to know, subscribe, then when I post in my community page, you'll see it on your page, on your feed, if you subscribe and you comment every once in a while. Look, YouTube figures, it's like speed dating. If you're not into that person, they're going to just file them in, yes, you subscribe, but you're never going to hear from them again, which is fine. It's actually a good way to help people. Just subscribe. And if you never have anything to do with their channel, they still have you as a subscriber. It helps them, but you don't get to see their content. If you want to see my content, you kind of have to be a little bit more involved. That goes with all social media, to be honest with you. But I feel that it's interesting that never mind. I don't know what was interesting. Something was interesting, but I don't know what it was. They'll bring it back to me if it's important. I think they want me to shut up and start answering questions. And I think that's funny because they're the ones that won't stop talking. Okay, let's get started. Thank you so much. So all that to say, you can go to my main channel, hit the logo, go to community tab, and you'll see where I'm asking for questions. And that's where I will always be asking for questions. So if you want to know how this is done, that's how it's done. So let's see here. We have already answered some of your questions. There's some spicy questions here, and I would also just warn you that I'm about 4 of 5 spicy chili peppers today. Don't know why. It is a take no prisoners continuation for Susan Lynn. So just buckle up and get ready because the 40% that's me is going to be spicy. They'll try to tamp it down a little bit, I think, but we'll just see. Creative Vision says, new story in the New York Times regarding Liz Cheney. Yes, I am triggered, suggesting a new political party may be needed. And she goes on to say, as usual, Susan, you're right, way ahead of the curve. Listen, the spirit guides are not. Listen, I would like to get them upset about some things. You know, you've seen those little cartoons where they take the stick and they try to get something to react. That's me with my spirit guides. It's like, tell me when Trump is going to die. I have gotten into so much trouble. Literally, I was in some kind of spiritual reform school, like all of 21 of those years. I don't know what it was, 2016, 17, 18, 19, probably all of those years. Every day I asked fervently, dear spirit guides. So anyway, it's funny because I can't get them to get super. So they're probably answering this question 5 minutes ago when I lost train. I can't get them excited about 45. He is gone. He's over his. See, I don't know who this spirit guide is, but his toast is burned. His toast, he's toast. You know, humans say he's toast. So their euphemism trying to figure out how to speak human is his toast is burned. But anyway, they can't get excited about him. They would say about him that he's been a wonderful example of radical change, also of contrast, right? Showing us what we want and what we don't want. It's almost like we've had it shoved in our face. You know what I mean? You know, like they're showing me a picture of someone who says, do you smell that? Do you like that smell? And you're like, I can't smell it. And they stick their sleeve in your face and like, you smell it now? I'm like, yes, I smell it now and I hate it. That's basically what happened to us and Trump, right? Yes, we smell it and we hate it. We don't ever want to smell it. We don't want to hear his voice. We don't want to see him ever again. Guess what? We understand the assignment. That was the assignment. They're not upset about 45. They get upset about Liz Cheney. That's why I get upset about Liz Cheney, because they call her, say it with me, the formidable opponent. This is what they always say. So your question, your statement, thank you so much for bringing it up, was that Liz Cheney says she's going to start a new party. She basically floated it out there. Like when you're trying to talk to your spouse or your mate, your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're like, hey, instead of going home for the holidays this year, how about we go to Vegas? And they're like, no, that's a stupid idea. Why would I ever want to go to Vegas? Why would I ever want to, you can fill in the blank. Maybe we should go on a cruise. Maybe we should go on a trip by ourselves so we have peace and quiet. But this is what happened with Liz Cheney. She floated it out there. She said, hey, everybody, how y'all been? No, you hate me. I still love you, Republican Party. I'm still a Republican. I am a Cheney. Don't cross me. But anyway, I still love you. And how about we all get together under me? Right? Let's form a new party under Liz Cheney, which is exactly what the spirit guides predicted. This is why she's a formidable opponent. She's not our friend. She has very different policies. Her policies make you have nightmares. If you don't believe me, look up her votes. Just look up her votes. As always, do your own due diligence. So that leads me to this thing that she floated it out there. I think she got smacked down. And it also leads me to this thing the spirit guides want to talk about. I'm trying to hold on to it because it's kind of it's on the edge of my consciousness instead of front and center. And that is that very briefly that you're going to see a complete sea change in everyone, and it's likely going to just piss you off, right? So I'm just telling you in advance, right? When you see it, you don't need to get mad because you know what's going on. You're going to see CNN, you're going to see NBC, ABC, all of a sudden talk about, I think 45, I think that ex-president, I think he might have been Russian. You're going to see things like, again, with Rachel Maddow's thing with Love Parnas, where it's like, everybody's like, now Rachel's been saying this for a while, but the psychics have been saying this forever. Okay, like forever. We've been saying Russia, Russia, Russia. In the beginning, I was afraid to even say the country because it was so it sounded so crazy, number one. And number two, it sounded so dangerous. So, what you're going to see is the guides are saying a wholesale uh, fleeing from the brand, from the name, from even how Americans or humans rewrite history. That never happened. Well, we do it ourselves, right? Like, I never said that to you, or I was never that mean to you. You rewrite the history. Guess what? You're going to see all of these people rewrite the history and all of a sudden come out as very rational anti-Trumpers or rational news people. Like, you're just going to see news stories about, it's going to start off with Robinson in North Carolina because he's a pretty good indicator. They almost said species indicator. Who are these people? I mean, are they biologists now? And I think he's a human. If you want to know the species you're talking about, it's human. They do call us a species. This is something they've done in the past. But anyway, he's a good indicator of like the canary in the coal mine. Better metaphor. Like, that canary died. It didn't come out of that coal mine. That means it's bad in there. Robinson is one of those canaries in the coal mine. He's here to teach us we are now waking up. How I don't know how he got to be lieutenant governor. It's one of the 29 wonders of our political situation, along with Vance and 45 and a few others and Laura Loomer, and there's probably more than 29. But anyway, he is the indicator. So you see the Republican Party, his own staff is quitting now. He's got new staff, but they're staff that actually have, I think, been indicted on crimes. But anyway, you gotta, sometimes you just gotta get what will take you. You have to dance with who will dance with you. And that's where Robinson is. So you're gonna start seeing, and the guides want to say this is also evident in the vote with the Congress to pass the budget bill, the House. Some Republicans said, they woke up and they said, you know what? This is the end of my career. I have signed on with the devil himself, and now I'm going to go basically to hell with him. And I don't want to do that. I want to see if there's any tickets left for that other direction. Maybe I can remake again, right? Republish my history, rewrite my history. You see, the Republicans are going to be doing this. They're already doing this. You're going to see the media doing this. And the queen bee of them all, Liz Cheney, is going to do this. The guides in all the videos I've done about her said she would remake her identity and move herself closer to the middle. Now, she's not going to, well, I say that, but then they corrected me. All right, fine. Make me even more scared, make me even more triggered. Why not? I was going to say she's not going to be like middle of the road conservative. You know what I mean? Like, I've never said that. They've always told me, they've always seen her just going to the right of middle. But I think what's happened is that I get it. She understands the right of anything is wrong. Like, all of us, again, go back to the analogy of someone putting, something on their sleeve and saying, "Can you smell that?" and it's shoving it in your face. We've had right-wing policies shoved in our face. We're so over it. We are actually going to be knee-jerk triggered against it. Now, are there going to be MAGAs? Yes. Are there going to be pockets of people who believe in that? Yes. However, what's been going down is, as I said in the last video, Republicans don't win the popular vote. They win the electoral college vote. And then they gerrymander the voting districts. So what's been happening for decades? In the last video, they said 40 years, which you guys so kindly told me was when Carter was in office. For 40 years, they've been suppressing the will of the people, the will of the popular vote. And now we're going into this new energy of, basically Aquarius. We're not quite there yet, but we're going into it. And the people are going to be some kind of mad, and they're going to overreact to anything that smells. I don't know why I got smell on the brain. It doesn't stink in here, I promise y'all. I can't even smell stuff. Maybe it does stink in here. Maybe I should. No, I took a shower. I'm good. I'm good. But anyway, for some reason, if y'all are smell sensitive and you got the smell-o-vision turned on, I'm sorry. Turn it off. But anything that stinks of right wing, anything that has a vibrational, even just like it doesn't even have to be overt. It could be subliminal. It could be like, that person's got a haircut that reminds me of those guys. It could be that simple that you're triggered. So this is why Liz Cheney's a formidable opponent, because she reads the tea leaves, as it were. She understands people. She understands motivations. And she's moving herself now all the way into a centrist Republican. So when she remakes her party, because this is what the guys predicted, Liz Cheney would either say, "I'm going to take over the Republican Party," or "I'm going to start a new Republican Party." But one way or another, I'm going to be ahead of it. I'm going to be the head of it. And so now she is moving herself to a centrist position. This all began too when she was so against gay marriage, and then her sister, oops, is a lesbian. That made, Thanksgiving difficult. But anyway, she didn't care. I don't think her sister goes out, whatever that is, quail hunting anyway. So I think she'd be safe. But she all of a sudden, and that's what it feels like, is all of a sudden reversed her stance and said, "Oh no, I was wrong. I love gay marriage. I love gay people. My sister's gay. Love her." So she really just reversed her stance without any explaining as to how she got there. So this is what kind of starts to tip you off that she's going to start changing her policies. Pay attention. She's going to change her policies. Also pay attention. She's not changing her policy. She's simply putting lipstick on the pig face so that everybody believes that she's a patriot because she stood against those terrible Jan 6ers. I just love her. She's a patriot. She is your worst enemy. She really is. Look at her votes. Don't believe me. I'm telling you, if you can go just Google Liz Cheney voting record, you'll see it. If you agree with her, then great. If you don't agree with her, please understand, whatever she says is not true. She's simply trying to do everything she can to get power again, which leads me to the last thing I'm going to say that's not a question, because the spirit guides have literally been yammering at me about this. Like I'm walking the dog and they're talking to me about this and I'm like, why? Why? Okay. Some poor person even left a comment on a video and the guides gave this poor guy like 5 paragraph response about power vacuums. Um, so let's talk about it. If the Republic, because a lot of institutions, paradigms are going to crumble. Okay. This isn't a terrible thing. Look, we used to ride horses. That was a paradigm. That was an institution. It guess what? We stopped riding horses. It's not the end of the world. It simply means change, okay? But in when change happens and something gets completely changed, at some point there's nobody there. There's no power there. No one has taken the mantle. Okay. So this is a very big warning to everybody. I mean, really and truly, the guides will talk about this forever until they feel like you've heard the message, which is even in your town, all of a sudden, wow, the crazy school board is out and the regular nice people are in, or the crazy school board is probably going to get voted out. We need to find somebody to run. See, there's the power vacuum. The crazy school board is out. Luckily, like Mark Robinson, he's going out. Luckily, we have somebody there ready to step in. Okay. So, like another example is 45 was never meant to be their main person. He simply was the owner of the MAGAs, he was their puppet master. Whenever he goes out, they would replace him with the power vacuum of Vance. Um, so in your local town, as these things change and shift, pay attention to who takes the new seat. Because with the Republican Party imploding and breaking apart, here is Liz Cheney sashaying in, right? She's not a MAGA, but she's not a moderate Republican. She's not a Mitt Romney even, right? She's not a John McCain, but she's going to try to make herself into a John McCain. So watch for that. Okay. Don't be fooled by that. And be careful as seats open, as you know, because seats are going to open in our Congress because of indictments or because of people stepping down. Be careful of the Santos that might come in and present themselves as something that they're not. You know, the Stefanik or whatever, how you say her name. All these people, these are people who've taken advantage of power vacuums and or Trojan horse situations. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about it. Hopefully I'll explain it better in the future. Believe me, they're not going to stop talking about it. But whenever an opening happens, we're all excited. We need to be careful about who replaces that opening, because if the will of the people doesn't replace the opening, then we're back in the same position. If we give our power away to someone, we're back in the same position. So I think their point, now when I told them I didn't make the point correctly, now they want to make it correctly, which is we are the ones that fill the power vacuum. We understand that we're going to change laws so our VOTE really counts, and that there's less of a two-tier justice system, right? We are the people we've been waiting for. We fill the power vacuum. The power vacuum exists because we haven't stepped into our own power in our personal lives, but also in the political and the greater world scheme of things. Okay, I'm moving on. That's enough. Okay, you say Liz Cheney, and you guys know what happens. Okay, Cat Girl Amy says, will Congress people abiding, that's interesting Freudian slip, abiding, but also aiding in Jan 6 ever be held accountable? Not all of them, Cat Girl Amy, but yes. I predicted this. The timing has gone to pieces, but I feel like, and y'all, I don't know what to say about you Garland fans. I don't know what to say. I'm just, 1-800 Spirit Guides, press 1 for complaints. Don't be complaining to me. Because Susan would tell you something that would probably really piss you off. But the guides just say Garland is not the man right now. He's not the man. He doesn't fit Kamala Harris's energy. So as we go into 2025, Kamala Harris will replace Garland. I saw Garland stepping down anyway, even when Biden was still the president-elect or president nominee or whatever you want to call it. I saw Garland stepping down anyway, just because this is it's a very hard job and it's very stressful. And it's generally speaking, when presidents start a new term, they shake things up. But so as we go into 2025, I see Kamala Harris getting a new DOJ. And I think what they're trying to say is not only a new head of the DOJ, but a lot of new blood in the new DOJ, a lot of new prosecutors, just new blood. It's going to be a new thing because we've got work to do. And you know how she is. You can sleep when you're dead. So get to work. So, yes, I think as we go into 2025, not only is the DOJ going to be a very important, the new DOJ is going to be a very important part of that, but also here's the whole, they want to say kingpin. They've used this before. The kingpin is the thing that you knock down and then it knocks all the other ones down. Another thing is the domino they talked about in the last video. 45 is the domino. Once you take him down, it's it's dominoes falling everywhere. So once I'll say we, because we the people, once we contain him, take him down in whatever fashion that is, and I don't care anymore how it happens, as long as it happens, everybody folds. It's like I see everybody holding their cards playing poker with the poker face, and then once 45 throws his cards down and says he folds, they fold too. They fold too. So they're going to be looking to make a deal. And I'm not talking about The Price is Right or whatever that show is. I'm talking about make a deal with the DOJ. Like, I got some stuff on this guy. I got some stuff on this girl. Everybody's going to be ratting on everybody else to try to save their butts, because we're talking crimes here. We're not talking ethics. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist. We're talking about crimes. Now, at the same time that's going on, right? You have all these people like P. Diddy that have potentially, allegedly, videotapes of a lot of people doing some things they shouldn't do, just like Epstein had videotapes of people doing things they shouldn't do. And you have a lot of people coming forth that will be whistleblowers, just an immense wave of whistleblowers. That is going to happen when 45 is neutralized or neutered. I didn't want to use that word because I didn't want y'all to think about that little thing down there, but whatever, I'm sorry. Now, 2 strikes, your nose is offline, your eyes are offline. Let's see if we can just go ahead and knock the rest of our bodies out. Once people feel safe, I mean, and I'm using that word kind of loosely, but once they feel safer, they're going to be digging up stuff from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm just not even kidding. It's going to be a pile-on. That's what the guides keep saying. They call it a pile-on. So yeah, they are going to be held accountable. I do see a few sort of scurrying off before the police arrive, but for the most part, yes. The guides are saying we will be pleased. I would like to say when. That's what I would like to say. You will say that we should be pleased. I would like to say, let's set a date to be pleased. let me put it on my calendar. I got nothing. They went out to lunch. They're just saying things are in motion, and there cannot be a calendar date, but it is, or they're using some kind of crazy guide talk now, non-human, like it is within your, they keep calling us humans and species, which I want to point out is different than the guides that use despoiled, which I didn't think was a word, which is a word, and cretin and reprobate, right? Those are guides that have had human lives in, let's say, the 1800s, the early 1900s. These guides, I don't know if they've ever been human, because they keep calling us species and humans. So I don't know who them peoples are. Long as they telling the truth and they can give me a date, please. March. I got March. What year? See, that's when I get pissed off. I mean, I just do. I think I was saying 25 and they were saying 26. So it could be that indictments and target letters fly in the spring of 2025, which I will also say is 1 year later than I predicted. But anyway, that's okay. So next year, well, it does make sense because Kamala Harris is going to be president. We think there might be a delay or there might be some, some kind of shenanigan thing happening. And she's just going to like be getting her stride on, I think, in March and getting her new DOJ. That makes sense, right? I mean, if I had to apply human common sense to what they're telling me, it makes sense. And it takes for sure a year to get anything done in the judicial system. So I think that's going to be good. Okay. This is a spicy question that Grandmama has. And I don't think I've talked about it in some ways, but I've never really read overtly on it. And your question is, Justice Scalia passed away at Leonard Leo's ranch. Did y'all know that? Anyway, and then that opened the way for Gorsuch. And then Trump had a convo with Justice Kennedy. He looked shocked and he suddenly resigned. And then we got Kavanaugh, and then Ruth crossed over, and then we got Amy Coney Barrett. So it does seem like some things happen to allow 45 to have 2 new appointees on the court. I mean, we can't account for Ruth, but we can account for Kennedy stepping down all of a sudden. Now, wasn't Kennedy's son involved in some bank that had potentially been involved with 45's companies? So there's some scandal there, potentially. And then Scalia, I'm just going to tell you right now, I've always thought something went south with Scalia. I don't think it was an accident. Okay, I don't think it was an accident. So yes, your question is yes. These were man-made. The guides are saying they were man-made openings, not natural. Scalia wouldn't naturally have crossed over, and Kennedy would not naturally have stepped down. So there you have it. I think that answers your question. I don't want to read too much into it because these people are crazy. These people are order of magnitude powerful and crazy. And, those other things. Okay, what is happening? Christina says, what is happening with Georgia now that their MAGA state election board is requiring all ballots to be hand counted? And if they're not done in time, they will not certify their 16 electoral votes. The guides said this 3-4 videos ago. It came out of my mouth. And I said, did you guys just hear what I just said? Whole states are going to refuse to certify their VOTEs. The guide said this like a month ago. But that was in the energy. And guess what? The energy manifested. But what I see when I go into that energy, it doesn't work. I don't see them pulling it off. What the guides say is the actual words, they don't pull it off. So again, you know, energetically, you see 45's power going down, and these people don't have it. Like the states quite don't have it, the moxie. They don't really have that zeal to do it without 45. They're close. They're close to just saying, giving the middle finger to the whole federal government and trying to succeed, but they don't have it yet. So with 45's energy going down and Kamala's energy going up, and Kamala being an ex-prosecutor and her hiring Mark Elias and all these attorneys, and all this happening in broad daylight, they can't really pull it off. I don't see them pulling it off. They just don't have, what it takes to pull it off. That's what the guides say. I might be wrong. Things could change, but right now, try not to worry about it, and try to know this. This is the real reason why this is happening, because we need to continue to be just blown away by the audacity, by the criminality, by the sheer just disrespect for Americans, for citizens. We need to see it, okay? Everybody needs to see it. Every day that goes by that one of these crazy things gets, hatched, and they say, we're going to do this, another 1,000 people wake up and go, that's it. That's a road too far. That's a bridge too far. These people are crazy. Don't think of it in the terms of they're getting away with everything. Think of it in the terms of this is somebody shouting out of a bullhorn a bunch of craziness. And people are like, you know what? John is crazy. That person is crazy. It's more opportunities for people to wake up and see, I don't want this. You know what? I like that nice liberal state where people can just, sign in and register the day of voting, or maybe it's not a liberal state, but it's a liberal policy. Again, this is for our education. This isn't being done to us. This isn't punishment. This is education. So we can say, I don't want that. I hate that smell. I hate that thing. I don't want that. Right? So think about it like that. It's much more of an empowered position of, I see what you're doing, and it's not going to happen because we're not going to let it happen. We've been disempowered. We believed the gaslighting messages that 45 and his crew has been telling us, because guess what? There's more of us than there are of them. And once we wake up and realize that, their game is over. Their shenanigans are over. We will change this system because there's more of us than there are of them. And we don't want this. Okay? So I'm not saying crazy stuff won't happen, but I'm saying that it gives you an opportunity to see that you don't like it. And it gives new people who don't watch politics, who are not plugged in, to maybe hear about it. Because, it's like the guides are saying, you have to shout really loud for the people in the back to hear. You know how they say it again louder for those in the back. Guess what? A lot of Americans are in the back. They're not listening. They're not paying attention. By the time the policy gets all the way back to them and they wake up, you're already fried because you've been shouting and freaking out and getting mad for years. And they're just now waking up. That's why we're on the front line here. We've got to take care of ourselves. When you're in a kind of a war, they don't just leave you in the war 24/7. They take you out and rotate you and give you rest and relaxation. They give you R&R. Give yourself R&R away from this. Okay? In the meantime, amplify the messages. You never know, that post you share might actually reach someone in the back and wake them up. Okay, let's move on to a few more questions. Kate says, after the election, will the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society be investigated? Will they still be a threat in 2028? Yes. Yes and yes. This is the same picture they always show me. I wish it would change, but so far it hasn't changed, which is the monster runs away at the end of the movie, and the damn thing is going to be back, and you're going to have to watch a sequel. The mantra of the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society has always been, every video I ever do about them, their mantra is, we want to live to rule another day. What does that mean? It doesn't mean they're going to die. It means that we want to be relevant enough. We want to not be in prison. We want our organization to survive so that we can come back and rule another day. If you look at these organizations, they come out, they're very loud and proud. And then when the environment is not conducive for them, they retreat back into their dark tower. And then you don't hear from them. And you think, they're gone. They're not gone. They're just simply retreated into their dark power. That's why democracy is a continuation of our participation, a continuation of us participating all the time. It's not like this, the threats are ever going to go away. I mean, if that makes you tired, then what I would suggest is that, number one, we've been in a bigger fight for our democracy than ever, I think, since maybe the Civil War. So that's why you're tired. It's not always going to be like this, but we still need to get into good what the guides are calling good political hygiene habits. You know, when you go to VOTE and you've got 27 things to vote for, and you're like, God, I don't even know who this person is, and who cares about the Railroad Commission? You do, believe me, they have a lot more control over things in your life than you think they do. That's how they get power. Okay. That is how they get power, my friends. So we have to educate ourselves. We have to stay in the game. We don't have to do it 24/7. We don't even have to do it every day. But when it's the season of politics, we need to get educated, understand, look deeply at the people, and get your friends together, you know, and get busy. It's on us. So, having said that, I will also tell you that yes, if they've broken laws, they'll be investigated. These people are, I can't even hardly say the word because it makes me, feel some kind of way, but they are brilliant. They're brilliant legal strategists. This is what they do in their dark tower. They study the Constitution. They know where the little weak points are. They know how to pick it apart. This is their life's work. Their generations upon generations work is to destroy this democracy and deliver to them this sort of oligarchy. Okay, so I don't think they're going to go away. But you know what? We're not going away either. And once again, there's more of us than there are of them. And I don't see them having this kind of control over us. I mean, they do have some control, but I don't see it like this. I don't see it being quite. Besides, it's not only the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, it's Russia, it's China. We're getting it from all sides. So we are exhausted because everybody's coming at us because no one is protecting us. We have no laws to protect us. We have no DOJ. Sorry, I'm going to say it. The DOJ is not aggressively protecting us. We need a new stance. We need to take a new stance. This idea that someone is too big to indict, too powerful to indict, is wrong. And that's been the stance. Let's look the other way. Okay? That's what's going to change. And it's going to change. It's going to be a sea change in our United States of America for the better. Okay? So yes, they're still going to be in their dark tower, but we're going to know about them. And if we pay attention to history, we won't let this happen again. Okay. Hopefully that worked for you. Jackie says, I thought Trump should have been removed by 25th Amendment during the beginning of his first presidency of actions. I can't understand how anybody would vote for him. He's truly demented. Yeah, I agree. Will Judge Merchan have him evaluated by a court-appointed physician as part of Trump? What I'm getting from the spirit guides is Trump is going to ask for that. I don't know. He's got some interesting strategies. But anyway, if you have to be evaluated mentally, then it's a delay. It's just going to be another delay thing. I don't think I don't see Merchan doing that. I could be wrong, but I don't see Merchan doing that. I just don't. But Trump might as a delay tactic. Let's see. Marie wants to know if Trump is connected to P. Diddy and will something come out in the media. I think so. Unfortunately, I think this P. Diddy thing, if they don't, if he survives, and I think he might, but if he doesn't get Epstein, yes, I just heard the words, there's going to be hell to pay. So that's P. Diddy saying there's going to be hell to pay. And believe me when I say Listen, nobody thinks 45 is going to get elected. Nobody thinks that. So P. Diddy is not going to be looking for a pardon from 45. Okay. I mean, it's getting clearer and clearer. Can you guys understand how once 45 is contained, everything changes? P. Diddy's going to be acting different. Everybody's going to be acting different because they were counting on the possibility of this man doing whatever he said he would do. So yes, I do think it's going to come out in the media. I think a lot of people are going to be. See, you go back to what the guys just said. They just showed me who's too big to indict, right? Hollywood movie stars, Hollywood or even pop stars. Who knows, right? It's just a matter of, will the DOJ indict these people? Because if the DOJ, what they just showed me was, if the DOJ indicts this pop star and then all their fans are mad at the DOJ, then that also means the fans are mad at the president. Okay? So you understand that this is not an easy thing to do. If your constituents are mad at you because your DOJ indicted somebody, you see how this is not straightforward. It's not. Then you lose votes. So that's why I think Democrats tread lightly. They don't want to rock the boat. Okay? But I think Kamala Harris is different. Again, she's not looking at this as an 8-year term. She's looking at it as, get me in, I'm going to do what I need to do. And if the American people don't want to keep me, they don't want to keep me, but I'm going to be happy with me. She's answering to her own core convictions, her own core ethics. That's why I think the DOJ is going to be badass. Okay. So yeah, I do think so. Joanne says, what about Netanyahu? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say something really that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm spicy. Okay. You guys, here's the thing. It's come to my attention from my spirit guides that certain world leaders like Netanyahu, and perhaps even world leaders of Lebanon are having wars with each other because it suits them and it's not real. It's not a real war. It is a real war in the sense that people are dying, but it's not real to them. It's playing. They're playing. Okay, it's not playing. It's about I don't know. All I can tell you is that I think Netanyahu, it's going to keep Netanyahu out of jail. He's already being investigated. It's going to give him power if Lebanon is bombing them. Okay? This is for entertainment purposes only, and for real, this is sketchy, so it's my opinion, and allegedly. What if Netanyahu called up Lebanon and said, hey, why don't you bomb us? Because I'll give you some money. I'll bomb your people. You don't care. You bomb my people. I don't care. But it's going to help us. I swear to God, that's the energy that I have about this whole thing. It's two madmen playing at war. That's the energy I have of it. And what I feel like is going to happen is that not only cooler, but I want to say cooler heads, but that's not a good translation of the energy. It's actually bigger, like two little kids having a fight and some bigger kids coming in and grabbing them by their collar and picking them up and setting them side by side. So yeah, I think that someone's going to get involved in this, be this other countries or whatever. But underneath the energy is kind of this quid pro quo thing. Like, go ahead and bomb us because it makes me look better, because I want to be the war president. I want to get rid of all these people I don't want in my country. So if you attack me, it gives me cover to continue doing what I'm doing. Isn't that the most depressing, horrible thing you've ever heard in your life? Yes. Hasn't America done regime change? Yes. I'm sorry. Look at your history. If you're going to get upset and say, Susan, you're depressing me, you're whatever, I would say perhaps maybe look at history and see that this has been going on for a long time. I would also say this is the end of this kind of energy. Humans don't want war. Okay. We are understanding and recognizing very quickly what is happening. People are seeing, Israeli citizens are seeing through Netanyahu's BS. Lebanese people are going to be seeing through that BS. There's more of us than there are of them. The guides just showed me, is this in Iran? I think it's in Iran that they've cracked down even more on women's rights. Like whatever few little rights they had, now they have even less. Like they might not even be able to speak. I'm not sure. And that happened, and that happened. But guess what's happening now? Now they're cracking down on men's rights. Now they're cracking down on citizens that happen to be male, their rights. And so the message is, well, you didn't stand up for the women. What did you think? You didn't think they were going to come for you? Really? It's the age-old thing. First, they came for this person. I didn't stand up. Then they came for this person. I didn't stand up. And then they came for me. Here we are, folks. We're all in this together. We're all humans. Humans don't want war. There's more of us than there are of them. The next 8 years, the spirit guides are saying, this is what you're going to see. Humans banding together and standing up and changing the paradigm from this very autocratic kind of toxic masculinity, whether it's female or male, human version of it, doesn't matter. We're changing it into more of a equalized energy. Okay. So I already told you how bad I am at timing, right? Will Netanyahu be out of here soon? I see Putin and Ukraine, Netanyahu, it's all connected. And 45, all those energies are connected. Putin, 45, and Netanyahu are all connected. And also maybe Venezuela or something. There's a few other countries, Hungary, but for sure those three energies sort of have created this unholy alliance, this unholy triangle of power, Putin, Netanyahu, and 45. Other people want to be in it. She wants to be in it. But these three, once it's a triangle, once one of them goes, the power's broken, the spell is broken. So I don't know which one is going to go first. But when one goes, shortly thereafter, the next one and the next one. And won't that be a gift to our planet to have those three energies no longer pouring that kind of energy into us? We have to refute it. Once we refute it and we say, no, we don't believe in 45's lies. We don't believe in Netanyahu's lies. We don't believe in Putin's lies. Once the humans refute it, they'll disappear. Our energy is keeping them alive, keeping their power going, because there are people who are, sadly, for one reason or another, whether they have to or whether they believe in it. They just showed me the soldiers in Russia. Some of them have to go. They don't have any choice. Some of them willingly go. But all this energy is kind of keeping it alive. But it's dying. You see it dying, you guys. You see 45, he can't catch a break. He is catching a break in the judicial sense. But here's Robinson. All these things are undermining him. He's got it sewn up. He's got all the right people in the right places, all the judges, all the world leaders, all in the right places. And yet, he's declining. That should give you hope, because that's from us. That's the people. He controls these power figures. He's not controlling us. That's why he's declining. And the same thing is going to happen to Netanyahu, and the same thing is going to happen to Putin. Okay, let's move on. Well, it's a great question. What the heck? Sue Steffens says, will Mark Cuban buy Twitter or Fox News? The impact on our politics would be huge. Yes, I wish he would. I don't see him doing it. Twitter is not worth the money. You couldn't even, I could get a piece of paper off a legal pad. It would be worth more than Twitter's worth. I don't see it. But I think you're picking up on intuitively is that Mark Cuban is a Republican who is more like what I see, not Liz Cheney, but Cuban is like a 20, is the new version of Republicans, right? Like he's he and I wouldn't agree on everything, but we can probably sit down and get some stuff done. So, but I don't see him running for office. He does have what is that? He has that pharmaceutical. If you guys buy prescriptions, you should check into Cuban's um, whatever it is he has. He sells medications for cheap. Um, and he has turned the entire pharmaceutical companies on their butts. He can't sell everything, but he's selling a lot of things for the cost that you would buy it in Europe. So he is really a catalyst. He's an agitator. He's agitating. He's changing the dynamics. And you want to know what? He's making a lot of money doing that. So this is the new breed of Republican. I don't see him buying that, but I do think that we're going to have new guardrails on media like they do in many other countries. They have guardrails on, you can't say things that incite violence, you can't say things that are untrue. We're going to pass a lot of those laws. And again, that goes back to the paradigms changing and dissolving. X might dissolve, right? Like was it Venezuela? What country was it that Elon Musk said, no, I'm not going to abide by your rules. You can do whatever, screw off. And now he's basically saying, can I please, I take it all back. Can I please have my software in your country? Pretty please, I'll do whatever you ask, right? These people that are all powerful are now kneeling down. That there's so many examples of it. Once you start looking for it, it's everywhere. But yeah, Mark Cuban is I have a lot of respect for him. I really do. So let's move on. Beth Mullen says, will anybody ever be held accountable for slander with all the vicious lies I hear from the right? It seems like there should be some recourse. Yeah, this is where we're going. This is where we're going. The guides are saying it's hard to prove slander sometimes, especially with like a public figure. I think that goes back to what I just said about laws being passed, guardrails being put in place. But I do think there will be, maybe the laws will even tighten up slander, make it easier to do. I don't know. But you know what they just showed me? Other countries are going to start suing these people. Because if you're saying it about somebody from one of these countries, then you're going to get sued. In many ways, the reason they brought that up is because they're kind of leading by example, right? They're kind of showing us, look, it works for us. You might try it too. And I think that really helps Congress. They can say, we're going to model this law after this really good law that's happening over there. And it's easy, like people adopt it and follow it very easily. And it's been very successful. So I think that's why the guides are saying it. Our lawmakers are going to have other countries to look at and be able to model new laws after that. And they will be successful. I'm just going to answer this really quickly. You have an LLL8865. Ask if Kamala Harris would really give Liz Cheney a place in her cabinet. I don't see that, and I don't see Liz Cheney taking it. Could be wrong, but Liz Cheney's got her sights set on the whole Republican Party. It's a much bigger prize than being under a Democrat. That's just like that. She can't quite do that. I don't see that happening. I could be wrong though. Susie Sela says, Jenny and Clarence Thomas get in any trouble for the new leaked voicemail? Not immediately. I don't see this being first of all, justice moves so slow. They could have a whole grand jury, takes a year, and you know what I mean? It just takes too long. And I'm telling you, Kamala Harris she is not a slow person. You can sleep when you're dead kind of person. So expect this all to be a lot faster. But I don't see it anytime soon. But I do see, again, you guys, I hate to be like a broken record, but it's going to be like night and day. It's almost like the same energy as when Biden said, I'm stepping down, and Kamala Harris says, I'm running. Our whole world changed that Sunday, night and day. Not saying good or bad, I'm saying night or day. When 45 is contained or beaten in this election or whatever happens first, you're going to see people like Thomas be like, you know what? I think I need to retire. You know what I mean? You're just going to see a lot of people hit the exit doors. Okay. Because if you stay in the game with Kamala Harris as president, you are now a target, right? Like you're telling her that you're opposing her, that you're going to oppose her platform. And then she's going to have to answer you. She's going to have to say, why did you say that? She's not going to let things slide. So I think these people are going to hit the exit doors. And this is an interesting question about MTG. Is she in talks with Jack Smith for her involvement in Jan 6? Yes. Yes, she really is. But I think he's saying, talk to the hand. I don't, I've said this, right. The guides are reminding me, I said this exact same thing probably 6 months ago, where I see these people like MTG and who is that guy? Josh Hawley, all the above, all these people that talk fast, you know who I'm talking about. Bobert, um, they're just fast talkers. And they're talking fast to like Jack Smith or his prosecutors. And the prosecutor's just like, God, I have a headache. Like they're not even listening. They're like, God, I forgot to get milk. Oh man, I gotta go to they're totally not listening. It's just like, yes, yes, I believe you've said that 10 times, Mr. Hawley. Would you care to add anything more to your statement today? That's kind of the feeling I have about it, is that he says, I've heard all this before. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's like when you catch a kid with their fingers in the candy jar and they say, well, there was a spider in there. I wanted to get it out. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you even talking about? It's like ludicrous. So yes, she is talking to him. And I will say that when you asked that question and I went into that energy about MTG and Jack Smith, I want to say this is going to trigger a whole lot of people, but I want to preface this by saying it's not what you think it is. So it's not what you think it is, but MTG wants to talk to Jack Smith about the BOMBER on Jan 6. She says she has information. I just want to laugh so hard because I'm telling you, Jack Smith or whoever this prosecutor is, like, that manicure, that was just terrible. I can't believe I gave him a tip. It's like they're just like not listening. They're not listening. And MTG is like, and she's not listening either. She doesn't care that they're not listening to her. And she's like pointing to the side and she's either chewing gum or talking fast. And she's like, yeah, that bitch. She's talking about Bobert. She's brought her 8th grade schoolgirl cat fight into the DOJ. Okay, it's not what you think it is, because it's not. I've never gotten from my spirit guides that person who did the BOMBER is either one of them. I know I've looked at the pictures. I saw everything, the stride, the shoes. I've done all of that. I'm a Virgo. You better believe I had the ruler out. I was like, yep, that stride is the same. It's not. It's the person who did that was wearing padding. They actually weren't even, they were wearing either 2 or 3 sets of clothes or padding. They did alter their gait. They tried to be someone else. But I believe that person is an aide, is a helper, an employee, an aide, a page, something like that. I do believe the FBI knows who it is. I think they know where they live, and I think they know what brand of toothbrush they use. I mean, I'm telling you, the FBI knows everything about this person. But this is a sense of cat and mouse. This person is unawares of what's going on. They think they've gotten away with it. And that's exactly where the FBI wants them, because, when you have a spy, well, okay, so they're changing it. They're talking now about embedding a federal agent into like a group. You know what I mean? An undercover agent. When you have an undercover agent and one crime is committed, you don't you don't pop out and say, we gotcha. You know, you want to see who paid for the crime, who's going to do the next crime. You want to get all the way out to as many connections as you can to that group. So they're watching this person. And I think this person is pretty boring. However, when they choose to pounce on this person will cry like a baby. This person will spill their beans. This is not a criminal. I mean, not a, I mean, they're a petty criminal is what they want to call them. They're not a mastermind. So anyway, that's what I have for that. But I think they are going to disclose that person. I'm telling you, it makes me mad, and I know it makes y'all mad. Half of y'all are mad at me for being mad, and half of y'all are mad at me. No, half of y'all are mad at me for being mad, and half of y'all are mad with me. But when I go into the energy, it's Garland, it's blocked. It's this whole idea that I've talked about this many, many, many times in the past, that the DOJ doesn't, they believe they were right. I grudgingly admit they were right. That to just wholesale go out and start knocking heads and arresting people would have caused our country undue stress, undue instability. If you recall, a couple of years ago, we were fighting inflation. We were trying to come back from the pandemic. And then for the DOJ to go around, or the FBI, CIA to go around, knock heads, it would have caused more problems. So this is the DOJ is let the criminals sleep while we get everything ready. And then when we apprehend them, arraign them, there won't be a big brouhaha, because the American people will have had an opportunity to enjoy Biden's policies, which is all true, right? The DOJ went after all the Jan 6 militia people so that they couldn't foment more violence. They cut the heads off of all the snakes. They've done some things right. I mean, according to spirit guides, and I agree, because I saw psychically all hell breaking loose, and it didn't break loose, and this is why. So as we get into even 25, and this is brilliant in a sense, but it requires a lot of patience. As we get into 25, what happens is those Biden policies, a lot of them just take years to implement. So we're not even benefiting from them yet. Add to that Kamala's policies, add to that the economy, jobs, just all the tax breaks that are coming down the pike, all of the debt, student debt forgiveness. Overall, American citizens are becoming a little bit more chill, right? A little bit calmer, because, their bellies are full and they're getting a job and they're paying their bills. And, so when the FBI, the DOJ goes knocking some heads, nobody's going to care, because now they've already seen that their MAGA cult member was a liar and a criminal and a convicted felon. So now when you go the next 6 months later and arrest these other people that might be your congressperson, or it might be some other people, you're not going to be upset about it, because they've already taken the sting out by taking down 45. Okay? So that's kind of Garland's, that was his plan. His plan was to do this like glacially, like so slowly, not to upset the apple cart. That's one way to do it. And to a degree it worked. Those days are over. Now we got an Aries, we got a freaking Kamala Harris and a Tim Walz coming in. And she don't got time. She just doesn't have patience. She doesn't have the time or the patience for that. She's going to deliver our medicine quickly, swiftly, and we're going to get it done. So with that, I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten to the end, you deserve all the things you've ever wanted. Just go ahead and manifest those for yourself. They're there for you, whether that's ice cream or a new job or new health or new happiness. Let's just manifest it. We're in control of this whole simulation thing called life. So take really, really good care of yourself. Please subscribe. If you think somebody would enjoy this video, share it. I'd appreciate that as well. Check out my website for my really fun online community. Just this morning, somebody posted, it's political and spiritual. Someone posted, I had a vision about MTG, and it had to do with, it was fascinating. It was a fascinating vision. And I was like, I think this woman's on to something. So join the community. All the people you've ever wanted to, hang out with and feel like these people get me, they're there. $12 a month. You can join, you can cancel anytime you want. There's over 400 of us there. I'm there doing 4 hours a month with you guys, doing various readings and different things. But it's like your own community. Everybody's posting hundreds of times a day, chatting with each other, sharing things. It's an option for you if you're interested. You can find it on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. Take really good care. I'm going to see you again real soon, okay? For entertainment purposes only.